Welcome back to the Jam with Lamb, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Anthony Lamb, your host, guitarist from the death metal band Maul. Today, my guest is a good friend of mine, Kyle Rudd-Pulkinen, guitarist from Torment. Thanks for joining me, man. It's good to have you.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be on.
Gosh, let's kind of start way back. Are you I know you're kind of like are you in like Duluth, Minneapolis right now? Where are you kind of out of?
So I live in Rosemount, just south of the cities, and then the rest of the band is in Duluth. But I grew up up there, and that's how I know all those guys.
I was gonna say, where are you kind of like from originally? Would you say?
I'm from a tiny town in Wisconsin, about a half an hour. Wisconsin, about a half an hour south of Duluth. Solon Springs. It's about population 600, tiny town.
Did you ever see like any, was there any live music that came through Solon Springs, like growing up that you saw?
Yeah, I'd have to go up to Duluth a lot. I mean, it would be, there's usually shows at this place, they closed down now. It used to be a youth center in Duluth called the Encounter. It was like a semi-Christian youth center. They got a skate park in the back, but a lot of local bands and some touring acts would come through there, and that's usually where I would go see live music. Other than that, like I was involved in theater, and I was always driving to Duluth. It was
nice
to do anything involved with music was driving from middle of nowhere, Wisconsin, up to Duluth to get any sort of live music.
That's definitely how it was. In Monoman, like, I mean, sometimes we would get artists that kind of come through to go to the casino, but it's like normally old ass country. You know what I mean? If you wanted to see like rock, you were kind of driving to Fargo or Detroit Lakes. Sometimes would have little shows at the pavilion, but they were kind of rare. Who was like the first person you ever saw play guitar?
Oh, shoot.
Like in general.
First person I saw play guitar, I'm not sure. I remember my grandpa having a guitar growing up, but I never remember him playing it. I think it just sat covering dust in the corner. And I remember he yelled at me once. I was messing with the tuning pegs when I was little, I'm making them all straight, Grandpa.
Yeah.
They're all crooked. But as far as like the first guitarist I've ever seen play, shit, man, I don't know.
Sure. Is there like a guitarist you remember seeing where you were like, man, that's badass?
I mean, before I started playing in bands, I mean, I was playing, self-teaching myself. And I remember seeing local bands, kids my age, Worm Against the Apple comes to mind. They later became Hurricane Joe. But in middle and high school, I remember going to see them being like, I can do that. I can totally do that.
That's dope.
I ended up joining three kids I was in choir and band with. They were triplets, and they had a pop punk band named Ultra Day. And I ended up joining them. So it was me and then a set of triplets.
Gosh, that sounds super familiar. Is Ultra Day still a band, or when did they finish up?
It's been, we probably played our last show in 2013. So I
swear I've heard of that band actually. Cool. How about, what was your first guitar?
Oh man, I've got it right over there in the closet. It's this, my friend got this same pack, and I was jealous because I really wanted it. It's this Behringer Strat that came with a little Behringer combo amp, and I liked it because it had distortion built into it. I didn't have to mess with anything, didn't have to crank it, could just turn on it was like the Line 6, just put it on insane and call it good.
Nice.
But I've still got that little thing. Behringer had that, like, it was like a pack.
Is that the one? It kind of looks like a black and white Strat, kind of.
Exactly. Yeah.
I had the bass, actually. That was my first bass, was the Behringer bass. And it's funny because I gave that, well, I didn't give it. I borrowed it to a dude in college, like the dorm next to me. Homie was like, oh yeah, my buddy's like trying to learn bass again, and like I got that bass for like $25. It was broken. I fixed it up, and then I was like, yeah, sure. I wasn't really using it, and then I never saw it again.
Nope, it's gone.
And then I
gone.
did see it. I did actually see it again, probably a decade later at the pawn shop on 45th here in Fargo. And it still had like my old band stickers on the back and stuff. Like I was like, oh my God.
No shit.
I almost bought it out of principle, dude. What guitar are you using now? What's the current guitar you're using when you play shows? Do you have like a couple?
Right now, I've got two that I run. I've got an ESP Tele E2 7-string.
Nice.
That I've been using that for about 4 years or so now. But I just picked up for my 30th birthday. I bought myself treated myself a little bit and got the new LTD Aero 7-string.
Nice.
And it's my first pointy guitar.
What tuning are you playing in for those?
We're just in drop A, so
cool.
Standard on the high 6 and then A on the low 7.
We've been talking about going back to, we actually, the first Maul demo was actually in drop A, and then we we went to drop C for a bit, and then now we're in B, which like I kind of like B just because it kind of has like a dirtiness to it, you know what I mean? But I don't know, drop A just sounds right to me, you know what I mean? I don't know.
It works so well for 7-string too, just dropping that low string and not having to worry about messing with gauges and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it just works.
What was the first metal concert you ever went to?
First metal, man, it had to have been, it was probably a local show, but like one of my like really early on shows, I went to the first Knot Fest in 2012.
Wow.
In Somerset. And that was awesome. I remember seeing Gojira open up that entire day.
Shout out Gojira.
Yeah. Grammy winners. Let's go.
Yeah, fucking crazy.
But I remember seeing them and leaving that show thinking, man, they were the best fucking band all day. Yeah. Even though, I mean, the lineup was super stacked. It was cool seeing
they were like one of the first metal bands I ever heard, period. And I just remember hearing their guitar tone and being like, man, this is sick. Man, how unfortunate would it be to be a band fucking against Gojira's Olympic performance? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no,
you're not fucking gonna beat that shit, dude. That was one of the few, like, I mean, especially just seeing it on like television. I was just that's like the only thing of the fucking Olympics I watched was like that opening ceremony thing. I don't know if you watched that at all. The kind of Assassin's Creed thing they were doing. I thought it was super cool, but I remember, that shit gave me chills, like goosebumps straight up, like the whole, and then it's like, like I was saying, having to compete with that, there is no fucking competition. That was like an iconic moment in fucking history, dude. How are you going to try to fucking, you can't break down your way against a band like that, dude. Like, it's just.
Nope. I remember the day that came out, they did that. I got it sent to me so many times. People be like, look,
same, dude.
Look. Yeah. And I'm like, I know. The playing on the side of a castle is so fucking sick.
Just being like the history, like theater nerd I am, like I immediately recognized the song and was like, holy, you know what I mean? Just like the artistic side of that performance was so next level. And like, I don't know, I hope America does something somewhat similar if we ever get the Olympics back like that. You know what I mean? Just the way they used all different types of art, and it was really cool, really special. Anyways, enough about Gojira. We're talking about fucking Torment, brother. I just kidding. Speaking of Torment, though, you guys got anything new cooking? Anything new coming up that people should be aware of?
We're we're in booking mode right now. So we're trying to promote our latest EP that we just put out in January, the Pain EP. We did that. We recorded that last year with Adam at Signature Tone.
Nice. Shout out Adam.
Shout out Adam. He's a fucking wizard, man.
He is, dude.
So great to work with. But yeah, we're kind of playing shows around that right now. Our booking is so weird because two of us work a pretty rigid schedules. So us trying to do runs and stuff is always kind of tough. All of our schedules are fucking all over the place.
It's like one reason we have 3 guitarists is because it is like easier for us in case one person has to like tap out for work. You know, we can still kind of roll as a 5-piece. Like being a 6-piece is kind of like how we roll now, like if we can. And I mean, that's kind of how we plan on going. But it is just nice because, like, I mean, you know, if someone gets sick or someone can't do it, you know, we normally have someone else, or just like other homies that we do kind of have in the sidelines that are ready to fucking hop in the machine and roll, you know, if we do need to. So
having that flexibility, I'm jealous you guys got that flexibility, having had so many people to step up for that. That is fucking super nice.
It is definitely like, I don't know, it's tough, like just having such like a solid unit stay together. Like that is one thing like a lot of people don't really realize. It's like sometimes little bands, and I don't mean like little as in not known, I mean like just like a 3-piece, for example. It's like easier for a 3-piece than like a 6-piece, you know, because you have less moving parts.
Well, look at Deterioration. Just 2 bros.
Yeah, dude.
Just 2 bros fucking doing it.
If they're still doing it, I don't know. Last time I talked to them, they were definitely getting into it at one another, you know. But who knows? Who knows? They were like, oh, we're breaking up, and then they're like, oh, we're not breaking up. Oh, we're breaking up. Now we're not breaking up, and I'm like, all right, make up your mind, dude.
All right, grindcore bros, fucking God, let's make up
and get over with it. You know, I love those boys though. What was your first gig like as a musician?
Oh man, I mean, I grew up doing choir and band. Choir was my big thing. If it wasn't for my choir teacher, who also taught me music theory and stuff in high school, I don't think I would have passed high school if it wasn't for her. But first gig with a band would have been Ultra Day.
Yeah.
I can't tell you when and where, but we did. There used to be this battle of the bands at the deck, and the last one they ever did. I don't remember the other bands, but it was us and Worm Against the Apple and like 5 other bands. And they would have kids go up on the big stadium stage in the arena, and we ended up winning that.
Nice.
And then we were supposed to, this never happened. We were supposed to win a recording session at McNally before McNally went under.
That's funny.
And a music video recorded there too.
Do you have any tips for like someone that was thinking about starting playing guitar or someone that's just starting to play guitar? Any tips for like new guitarists?
I think one of my biggest things would be just fucking keep trying. It's hard. It's not easy. And play what you want to play. I remember when I was starting out, I wanted to play Death Clock songs. So I bought the tab book and I just fucking went at it. And wasn't great. It was hard. That's probably not the most practical advice, to start really, really hard, but it's the stick-to-itiveness of it. You really got to stick to it, even if you suck. Like,
it does keep going. Takes a level of patience not a lot of people have, you know, especially in today. Like, everyone kind of wants this instantaneous return, you know what I mean? And especially like when you start playing guitar, it's the first bit might, you know, take a little while for you to get to like a riff. But it is kind of one of those things. It's like a snowball effect. You know what I mean? The more you kind of do it, the easier it's going to get. And then before you know it, you're fucking doing scales. You're like learning entire songs. Like, so yeah, patience is key. I feel like when it comes to that type of stuff. And you said it as well. Like, one thing I like to tell people, like you just said, is, you know, play things you want to play. So that's kind of like when I teach people is I'm like, what do you want to learn? And then I try to like get them to that point, you know. Great stuff.
Yeah, and there's so many resources. I'm so jealous of beginner guitarists nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's so many better resources that are free online to self-teach. And I wish I had even a little bit of that.
How about, what's your favorite Metallica album?
Metallica album? Shit, man. I'm a I'm more of a Megadeth guy.
Oh yeah. What's your favorite Megadeth album?
Megadeth. I mean, the newer one, Dystopia, is really good. Otherwise, I mean, I just grew up with their greatest hits CD in my CD player all the time.
Nice.
I guess if I had to pick a Metallica album, though, and Justice for All.
Nice. Interesting. I don't know. I definitely like started listening to Metallica and Megadeth like later in the game. You know what I mean? Obviously, I kind of like what I was saying. But the Black Album for me is like where I started learning guitar. So it's like I'm kind of attached to some of those songs. But I mean, Ride the Lightning's definitely my favorite album. Just fucking banger riffs. Megadeth was one of those things too. Like I never really got into him just because I fucking hated Dave's voice.
It's Dave, man. And as soon as you get past,
but I mean,
Dave.
you can't deny the riffs are there. The solos are there. You know what I mean? The musicianship is there. So like I definitely would find myself like listening to them just because I'm like, oh shit, this fucking riff is hard, or like I don't know, you get sucked in.
They've got some deep cut tracks that fucking rip, man.
And I didn't know for like a long time. I don't know when I kind of learned it, but like I didn't know for a long time that Dave was like in Metallica. You know what I mean? And I just think the idea of like getting kicked out of a band, I don't know how, like what the fuck happened with all that. I don't know, like the goddamn lore, but it's like just the fact that you were like in a band like that, left, and then started a whole nother band that fucking got like as big, if not bigger, you know what I mean, is crazy.
They're called the Big Four for a reason.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
like,
crazy. What got you like into Megadeth?
Megadeth, it was just trying to find heavier stuff. I mean, when I started getting into heavier music and rock music, you know, I found a lot of punk music, and then started getting into more of the new metal of the time when I was growing up, middle school. You know, Korn, Limp Bizkit. I mean, Slipknot. Still to this day, one of my most influential bands up until, I mean, fifth album.
That is such a crazy thing to say, but it is so real. Like, you know, back in the day, like Korn was fucking heavy.
Yeah,
I mean, Korn is heavy, dude. But it's like at that time, like I don't know, people hadn't heard like tones that thick, lyrics that weird. You know what I mean? Like shit, they were definitely kind of pushing an envelope that a lot of bands weren't. I love Korn, dude. I will die on that fucking hill of like
Korn's great.
Yeah.
Even the dubstep album.
Yeah, dude.
Even the dubstep album.
Well, I mean, that kind of like I was saying, kind of, you know, that's always one of my favorite things. Like whenever we drop a fucking album, is like there's some neckbeard somewhere that's like, this doesn't reinvent the wheel, you know? And I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to fucking write trying to write a fucking death metal album, dude. I'm not, you know, sorry, not every album can be fucking Blood Incantation.
Right. Like
you know
the formula is there.
Yeah, you know, I'm just trying to write some heavy riffs, brother. Like, I don't know. Maybe LP3, I'll start pushing those boundaries, whatever the fuck that means. Shit. Yeah, dude. I used to be like mad against even like getting soft, like having an undistorted riff. You know what I mean? I was like one of those guys for a while. But then it was like, I don't know, Maul, we kind of reached that point of jamming where it was like, who cares? Like, let's just fucking see where the song goes. Let's vibe it out. And then, like, if it gets soft, it gets soft. If it fucking gets heavy, it gets heavy. You know what I mean? We kind of started
Dynamics help a lot, especially like when you're always on the whole time when writing this metal shit. You know, your ears get kind of tired.
Yeah.
So like having that break, you know, even if it is just a little clean bridge or clean with a little bit of reverb or something, just any sort of dynamics you can bring to your set or your album, like, goes a long ways.
And I mean, for me, it was definitely like, you know, when we started Maul, I really wanted the band to be like abrasive and tenacious on a level like, you know, kind of like Nails or Jabalba. Like there's like you know, they don't have like soft parts, you know what I mean? And if they do, it's like eerie and fucking mysterious. And there's like a sample from fucking some radio show in the background talking about some crazy shit. So it's like, that was kind of where you know, that's why I was like so against it at first. Cause I was like, I was trying to keep this like, you know, just like a level of intensity, you know, and being inspired by bands is one thing, but yeah, you shouldn't, I kind of had that realization, like, we need to do what Maul does, not what fucking Nails does. You know what I mean? And it's like,
exactly.
Once you kind of break those chains, that's when you really get to start writing like your own way.
Yeah. I think Torment, we finally kind of turned that corner with this new EP. Kind of figured out like what works for us, like what we do well, really, like what we do well in our little box that we write in.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward. Our plan for the next one, which we've just kind of started scratching the surface on. Our plan for the next one is doing a full length and having it be a little more cohesive.
Yeah.
So right now, everything is like,
Songs.
We got one riff.
Yeah.
Okay, song. Yeah. Nothing really. It fits. It still sounds like us, but nothing really fits together.
Yeah. I feel that. Tell me a little bit about your writing process. How do you guys write? Do you jam, or do you kind of like map out a song first and then bring it to practice, or is it kind of like a collab? Or
most of the time, it's usually me, Matt, who's our newest guitarist, or Andrew, our drummer, has one riff, and then we'll build on it. And usually, we're not really a sit down and jam and write a song kind of band. We're usually a flesh it out in the DAW, try what works, get something in pre-production ready, and then we'll bring it to practice and try and play it. And then if like some stuff works when you record it better than when you play it with the full band, So it's a lot of experimenting with that and moving sections around, and then trying stuff at practice and then bringing it back into recording and kind of going from there. But
when you're recording the pre-production, what kind of software are you using for that? Are you using like Pro Tools or Reaper or something?
I'm using Cubase, but Adam definitely convinced me to move over to Reaper. So I'm kind of in between right now using Cubase and Reaper.
I don't know. Reaper, you can keep fucking hitting buy later.
Consider buying. Maybe later.
I actually had no idea you could even do video on that until Adam showed me. I was like, oh my God, dude. Fucking
Reaper does it all.
And he makes that shit look so easy, dude. Like
he's a wizard, man.
What was the most awkward gig you've ever played? Like, you ever play a gig that just felt weird, or maybe it got double booked and shit was off, or
dude,
felt a little unsafe or something?
Before we had Connor, our current bassist, for our first I think year and a half as a band, we had a different bassist, and he had he's borrowing all of his gear, and I think his battery died on his bass in the middle of the set, and he threw a fit.
Oh boy.
And I was like, I can't help you. I don't have an extra battery. And we ended up
that's what I always say.
We just played the rest of the set without him while he fucking cried.
Oh boy.
I felt.
What's the current rig you're using right now?
I'm still rocking the 5153 EVH with a few pedals in front of it, just a gate, a compressor, and then I've got this kind of a tremolo cutter kind of thing. It's called the Cutter by Abominable Electronics, and I'll use that a little bit, kind of stutter effect. Ooh. But it's got a drive on it that I really like, so I'm always running that.
I like Abominable, actually. I kind of keep an eye on their shit. They have some cool pedals.
The Cutter is a collab, I think, with Code Orange, and the boys got it for my birthday, and
nice.
I've been rocking that ever since. And then I guess I've got the whammy Ricochet as well. Sure. It's like a whammy pedal, but just a button.
Yep.
So you go.
Yep. What kind of gate do you use?
I've got the TC Electronics Sentry. It is like the most cut-offy gate ever because
how much did that run you? Do you remember?
I think it was just over $100.
Sure.
Because nothing takes me out of a breakdown more than hitting the dun 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 dun. And it's it can make or break. the feel or the groove coming up next if you don't nail those stops. And I mean, Torment, we do it a lot.
Yeah.
You know, we've got the stops right before bring back the same riff, but heavier, slower, heavier. Haha. But yeah, it takes a little bit of practice. And I needed a gate that was like, cut it off, just nothing. Yeah. And that's like the fastest, cleanest one. I used, the Boss NS2 one forever, and it's just not fast enough.
Yeah.
There's still a lingering little.
I used to use that NS2 as well. I kind of had it pretty dialed in, but you kind of said it there. Like, it is not super reliable when it comes to metal, I feel like. Especially if you're doing like real high gain type shit. How many watts is that 5153? Is that like 60, 80?
I think it's only 50 here. 50. I can look, but
not a big deal.
Think I've just got the 50 watt version, so not the big boy.
Pretty sure that's like, I mean, that's kind of become like a standard. I feel like when I'm seeing bands touring, a lot of them are using that 5153 or
it's fucking similar. Great amp. You just plug it in and it works, man. Like, there's not a ton of dialing in.
Do you just have one channel on that, or is there like a clean channel too? Or
there's 3 channels. So there's
nice.
There's
like a crunch,
a clean, a crunch, and a high gain. And I just use the crunch because the high gain is just too much.
Sure. So do you like gain? Do you have like a pedal you kind of boost that crunch with, or?
Yeah. That's what I use the drive on the cutter, the Abominable Electronics.
Nice.
I'll use the drive on that. But even without that, I only have the gain at noon, and it still rips. Like, even without
that's where I keep mine too. I just have it at noon, and then. I mean, sometimes I have to turn my gain down depending on the room I'm in. Like, if you have a real heady room, sometimes you got to cut it back just a tad. But
and you're using the 6505 or the 6505 plus?
I have the plus, even though I only fucking use like the one channel now. My foot switch broke the one time I tried to fucking tour with it, and pretty sure just like the dust in Texas killed it. Got a little too dusty, and I didn't have an air can with me. So does Torment have any gigs lined up coming up that people should know about, or any touring plans? Or you said you're kind of in booking mode now, right?
Yeah, we've been kind of doing a couple one-offs and stuff. Later in early March, we'll be at the Eagles 34 in Minneapolis with Glad to Be Dead, A Martyr's Dilemma, and one other band. I can't recall their name. And then we're in Mankato also in March with Bong Reaper and Thunder Goat.
Wow.
I haven't heard of those guys.
Bong Reaper?
Bong Reaper.
Nice.
So I've not heard of those guys, but they asked us to play the show, and we're like, your band name's sick. Yeah, let's do it. And then I think we've got a couple with you guys at the end of your run before the big one with Acacia Strain. Yeah, in April, I think we've got a couple with you guys.
It's going to be dope. You know, the bigger your band gets, the more fans you get, obviously, but you also get more haters. That's part of growing as a band. Have you ever heard like shit talk that made you laugh, like about your band or another band?
You know, a lot of it happens not online, but just like behind our backs a lot, and we'll hear about it from other people. And that is always what makes me laugh is I'll see you at shows, but then I'll hear you've been talking smack, and I'll just laugh.
Yeah, dude. People tell me all the time, like when people talk shit, I'm like, yeah, it's whatever, dude. Not everyone's going to like you. You know, people aren't, people like what they like, dude. And I don't know. I love that though. Like one I heard recently, speaking of Blood Incantation, because like I'm not like a huge Blood Incantation fan either, but like, I'm not gonna lie, that new record, bro, I have fucking listened to it probably a good 30-40 times. Like,
it's not my thing, but I appreciate it.
It's one of those records where it's like, I remember when I first listened to it, I was like, this is it? And then like the more I listen to it, I'm like, damn, there is a lot going on that you kind of have to digest. And once you start digesting it, you kind of see the bigger picture of the album. But anyways, someone online. I remember was like, ooh, a fucking metal album about space, how revolutionary. And I was like, yeah. That kind of was what I was talking about, though. It's like you get those people that are like, oh, they didn't reinvent the wheel. I'm like, I kind of like just a good old fashioned wheel, maybe a little dirty, maybe it goes off roading,
if the formula is there, why
I like monster truck wheels. You know what I'm saying? Like big, fat, fucking obnoxious wheels, brother. You know what I'm saying? But
my band before Torment, we were called Vitamin Death, and we were just big dick metalcore, just trying to write the flashiest shit. I got so sick of that. I got so sick of doing that. And when I started Torment, I was like, I don't care. We're playing 3 frets and that's it. I'm not fucking doing this shit. I'm probably misquoting it here. That it's a quote from Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
You don't want to write the riffs that impress everybody. You want to write the riffs that have a kid go home and be like, I want to play that.
Yeah. Yeah. That was definitely something on Jaws I kind of made, like a conscious effort of, was like having certain riffs that, like a kid could learn, you know what I mean? And kind of hopefully inspire someone to pick up a fucking guitar, you know what I mean?
More bands. We need more bands.
Yeah. So of the original 3 starters, who are you taking?
Original 3?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Probably Bulbasaur.
Word.
Or not Bulbasaur. Squirtle, the water one.
Nice.
Squirtle.
Squirtle's my boy. We're getting close to pulling the plug on the podcast here. Kyle, is there anything else you would like to plug before we pull the plug?
Man, just the Torment Pain EP. It's up on all the streaming services. We've got our full EP release show on our YouTube channel, Torment MN on YouTube and everywhere else. I'm pretty proud of that EP release show video. Shout out Lane, Rain Fade Media, for putting that together for us. Took audio straight from the board, and it sounds and looks amazing.
I actually just watched it like yesterday or whatever, and
it looks fantastic. That's my plug. Yeah.
If people were trying to find Torment online, how can they do that?
Easiest way is Torment MN. With a generic ass name like ours, there's a few Torments. So yes, Torment MN on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, all the works, Bandcamp. We're working on getting merch sales up on the Bandcamp right now. So hopefully we'll be able to get some merch out to some people that have been pestering us that can't make it out to shows. I feel pretty bad that we haven't set up any online store or anything yet. 'Cause I'm pretty proud of our merch, and I'd like more people to enjoy it.